When you call off the sign of a building, you're talking to the landlord's agent. Or if they return your phone call, you'll be talking to the landlord's agent, and you may go see space and be interested in it, and at some point they're going to give you a lease document. A lot of times I hear people ask, is this just a standard lease? I think what they're asking more often than not is there anything in this lease I should be concerned about? That's the better question. People frequently will hire attorneys. We recommend that they hire attorneys to review leases. We're not attorneys. We work with our clients' attorneys. We read a lot of leases. We know what's normal. We know where landlords sometimes will give on their lease language as opposed to where they absolutely will not give. They may make concessions on lease language for a company like an IBM or an Apple. Any Fortune 100 company sometimes has so much leverage that landlords will do what they ordinarily would not do in changing some of their lease language. But small businesses, mid-sized businesses don't command that much leverage. And so it's helpful not to bang our head against the wall in negotiating on language that will not get changed. Lease language is important. Whether it's a standard lease is really irrelevant. The lease that is presented to us by the landlord's team is the lease that the landlord is extremely comfortable with, knowing that it fully protects him. I've heard it said, and I think it's pretty well said, that a lease is written 200% in the favor of the landlord. That's not going to change much. It's the landlord's asset. Naturally, the lease is going to be in his protection. But it is critical that we read it carefully. I have found mistakes. I have found points that if the business person were to sign the lease the way it was drafted, they would be in default from day one. I'm not saying it's intentional, but I'm saying it's so important that more than one person read the lease. I encourage my clients, even though this is boring and even though you may not understand it, read the lease and write down your questions. It is to your advantage to be fully informed. Engage, lean in. Spend some time on that document. All I ask my clients to do is be sure you hire an attorney that is really good and experienced with reviewing commercial leases. Having an attorney that you have a strong relationship is wonderful, but to ask them to do something they don't have expertise in just creates confusion. And believe it or not, I run into it frequently. It does not help solve problems. It just adds to the problem. Understanding leases, lease language is part of negotiation. There are two separate negotiations that take place in every transaction. One is all about the financial features, the concessions, how much rent you're going to pay, how much money is going to be provided for construction. Many of these things are just parts of constructing a lease. But then once the lease is put together, we need to also negotiate that document. As your tenant advisor, it is appropriate to expect us to read the lease and make comments on it. But you never want to look at us as somehow replacing an attorney in reviewing the lease. You reading it, your attorney reading it, and having us read it is the wisest way that you can mitigate or reduce risks. That's the way you want to conduct your business.